Join us as I ride Pennsylvania's last mainline steam railroad. We'll take a ride on the Reading and Northern from Nesquehoning to Pittston through the Pocono Mountains to see what makes this line unique. I'm Ralph from Ralph's Trip Reports, and welcome to this special video. Our journey begins at the Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station. This station is located approximately 15 minutes from Jim Thorpe and 2 hours from Philadelphia.
Our adventure begins today at Reading and Northern's Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station, part of the railroad's Nesquehoning campus.
Ooh, look at that.
While the Mainline continues northward to Pittston on our recently constructed bridge over the Lehigh River. This bridge opened for service in February of 2020 and allows the Reading and Northern Railroad a progressive move between North Reading and key points north, such as Penobscot, Pittston, and Tunkhannock.
Now entering the Lehigh Gorge State Park. The state park spans approximately 4,600 acres and goes for 25 miles from Jim Thorpe north to the town of Whitehaven. We will cover almost the whole entirety of the park today on our journey north to Pittston. We will also be parallel to the biking trail, which spans the entirety of the park from Jim Thorpe all the way up to Whitehaven. Alright, so in typical trip report fashion, let's take a look at the seat. Above you, you have overhead luggage racks. Down below the seat, we have a little bit of leg room. It's not bad, enough for my computer in front of me. These trains are laid out in a 2x2 arrangement. They said there's 24 cars on this train today. It's the longest train that the Reading and Northern has ran. It's incredible. And the only reason 2102 is capable of taking this train, no problem. The only reason they had the two diesels on, like you've seen this morning, is because of the dynamic braking going down the hill heading towards Wilkes-Barre. The cars we are traveling on are all ex-Delaware, Lackawanna, and Hudson cars, built for commuter operations out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Yeah. And you can see that some of these are powered like the Aero cars on New Jersey Transit. Okay, so I know you all are dying to know what the bathroom looks like on this train. Well, I'm going to show you. This is the 1918 bathroom for you, okay, folks? Got running water, hand sanitizer, toilet paper dispenser. The toilet isn't even powered. You have to manually do that yourself. 1920s technology, folks, at its best. If there was smell-o-vision right now, it wouldn't smell very good. Let's just put it that way. Right here is where the end of the Lehigh Gorge trains go. The main excursion trains from Jim Thorpe, they go right here. So, I don't know if you know this, but the Reading and Northern is actually also a Class 2 freight railroad, and they run freight as their main source of income, but they do passenger excursions on the side as well. Reach the town of Whitehaven, a performer has arrived. As we reach our first tunnel, all of the windows have to be closed in each coach car as we pass through the tunnel, so the exhaust from the engine doesn't enter. In case you were wondering, it was 92 degrees the day of the trip with a heat index of 100, and these cars do not have air conditioning. Favorite car, the cafe car. They have some stuff for sale. They have some posters, some coffee, some food. The cafe car has a variety of snacks, coffees, and local beverages for you to purchase at a reasonable price. So while I was in the cafe car, I got the 2102 blend coffee for $4. Pretty good. Had some French vanilla creamer to go with it, so Not bad. The main highlight of these trips today is to meet the Union Pacific Big Boy, which we will be meeting in just a few minutes here, actually. Coming off the DuPont connector from Scranton. It's going to wait for us, then it's going to back into the Pittston train station. It'll be there for about 2 hours, where we'll have a layover to see the train again, and then we'll head back to Nesquehoning. So this is the difference with the open air. You see it's bench seating with open air on both sides, allowing for uninterrupted views. The only thing is these cars. And speaking of Big Boy, here it is.
In Pittston very shortly. The Big Boy's third and final scheduled appearance in Pittston.
And now some history on our locomotive. 2102 was built in 1945 by the Reading Shops in Reading, Pennsylvania. The locomotive operated on the Reading Company Railroad well into the 1960s, operating some of their famous Iron Horse Ramble excursions. After going through a few owners, the locomotive was bought by the Reading Blue Mountain and Northern. It ran through the 1990s before being sidelined for restoration. In 2022, the locomotive returned to revenue service and has been operating on the Reading and Northern since. And here comes the other highlight of today's trip. Big Boy number 4014 is now arriving into Pittston. Let's take a look at the Big Boy number 4014. The Big Boy 4014 was built by the American Locomotive Company in November of 1941 in Schenectady, New York. The locomotive was assigned to haul heavy freight trains over the Wasatch Mountains in Wyoming. The locomotive ran in revenue service until 1961, when it was retired. In 2013, the Union Pacific reacquired the locomotive and did a complete and extensive overhaul in Cheyenne, Wyoming, before returning it to service in 2019. The UP 4014 is on a coast-to-coast tour in conjunction with Norfolk Southern. This will take the locomotive from Sacramento, California across the country to Philadelphia to celebrate America's 250th birthday. As we reach the front of Big Boy's train, we see Steam Operations Leader Ed Dickens stepping out of the cab to greet everybody. In the cab also is Reading and Northern CEO Andy Muller. Andy will be riding with Big Boy from here in Pittston down to Jim Thorpe, where it will lay over for the night. Big Boy then departed Pittston, and 2102 brought its excursion train into the station for boarding. After we departed Pittston, we headed down the track a few miles and met up with Big Boy on a pair of side-by-side running tracks. We then departed and head down the side-by-side tracks through Pittston, where we stop and let Big Boy catch up to us. minutes train then continued past us to the end of the side-by-side running tracks in Pittston, where we get a good view of Big Boy's entire consist. As we caught up to the Big Boys consist, I wanted to showcase some of the cars in their consist, as they have some pretty unique history. Starting from back to front, we see the Marco Polo. This car was built in 1927 by Pullman. Another unique thing about this car is that it was used primarily by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt throughout his term in office. In front of that, we have several cars from the Norfolk Southern Office Car Special, which was added to the train in Chicago. We then get into the Union Pacific Streamline cars. These cars operated for Union Pacific Railroad up until the early 1970s, when Amtrak took over all passenger operations. These cars operated on such famous trains such as the City of Portland, City of Los Angeles, and City of San Francisco, just to name a few. Now these cars are mostly support cars for the crew. Next up, we see the Promontory. This is the display car that the public gets to go into on extended whistle stops that shows the history of the Union Pacific. Next up is the Challenger. This car is where invited guests and VIPs sit when they travel on the train. Skipping ahead to the front, we see the diesels that are supporting the 4014. The 1776 is Union Pacific's 250th anniversary unit. In front of that, we see the NS 1776, the Bell locomotive. And finally, Union Pacific's 1616, the Abraham Lincoln unit. In total, the Big Boys consist is 20 cars long. We then proceeded southbound to our next stop of Mountaintop to take on water, where Big Boy catches up to us and passes us, continuing southbound towards Jim Thorpe. Here's a video from Mountaintop a few weeks back of the Big Boy and 2102 running side by side. We are now entering Crown Class. This is an elevated coach seating option, which has newer seats and has air conditioning, which is needed for this hot July day. The seats in this car cost approximately $15 to $20 more than the tickets in standard coach, which were $125 for today's excursion. And now that we're entering the Lehigh Gorge State Park, here's some final thoughts. I thought this was one of the best rail experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. And nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to this experience having the Big Boy running side by side with 2102. And to hear the Big Boy's whistle echo off of the buildings in Philadelphia is a memory that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And it isn't over yet. As we reach Jim Thorpe Junction, this will be the last encounter between 2102 and Big Boy 4014. The Reading and Northern Railroad also operate more passenger excursion trains from different locations on the line. Click the link below for the latest details on upcoming excursions and trips. We are now arriving at Nesquehoning Station. It was a fantastic once-in-a-lifetime event that I'll never forget, and I'm grateful I was able to take you guys along for the journey. Well, that just about does it for me. Ralph from Ralph's Trip Reports. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Happy 4th of July.